Hi everyone, thank you for joining this conference. And today we are going to speak about HAProxy history and how its design and philosophy helped it to be modern for the last 20 years and counting. First of all, let's speak about the HAProxy philosophy, which has been designed and built on top of 5 pillars. Simplicity. Simplicity means that you can manage, read, configure HAProxy in a very simple way with a simple configuration file. Everything we try to do in HAProxy has to be simple so people can use it, can scale it, can configure it, can automate it. High performance has been in HAProxy DNA from the ground up. Its event-driven model associated to a log-free multi-threaded model allows you to get the most performance of your hardware or virtual machines. HAProxy is very famous for its reliability. First, we do provide long-term support releases. So people using a version know that they can use it for the next 3 years. It's reliable. And we also do provide backward compatibility. So imagine you're using a feature and this feature is being deprecated, then you know that in the next release, you will have to slightly change your configuration, but the feature will still be supported in a new fashion, maybe more modern. Observability is nowadays very fashion in modern infrastructure, but HAProxy has embedded this type of functionality from the beginning. It is able to provide you live statistics and also very verbose logline that will tell you if a problem occurred on the client side or on the server side because of a timeout, because of a connection closed by the client, the server, etc. It's a very convenient way for troubleshooting your applications when you have HAProxy in the mix. And last but not least, HAProxy is expandable. So it's not because you can't write C code and so contribute something to HAProxy that you can't customize it for your own needs. So you can create some Lua code that HAProxy can execute at runtime to provide you a better experience for your traffic. And you can also use SPOE, which can offload some traffic to your own daemon, and then your daemon can reply to HAProxy with some answers. With this, you can use any programming language to add more functionality to your running HAProxy. Now, let's speak about the evolution of the load balancer market and how HAProxy was able to match the ongoing demand of this particular market. So from 20 to 2010 approximately, we were speaking about hardware load balancers. They were layer 4 load balancer working more or less like a router. During that period, HAProxy was a software load balancer because its development started in 2001. In 2010, the market evolved as an ADC market. ADC for Application Delivery Controller. It was a moment where people wanted to mix layer 7 features into their hardware load balancer, which was good for HAProxy because HAProxy was a reverse proxy, and so it was already provided these layer 7 features. At the same time, we saw the rise of virtualization on the enterprise market. The dynamic needs for this part of the market was that we wanted to change server status and server health, nothing more. You know, it was at that time where when you had an infrastructure, you were configuring IP by the hand, network configuration, everything was mostly hard setup, basically. HAProxy 1.4 was available and it already had the dynamic server state where you can say, oh, I need to do a maintenance on this server, then I'm just going to change the state of this server, do the maintenance, change the state again, and the server can resume getting more traffic. Then, in 2014, the public cloud adoption was beginning. So by public cloud, it was mainly AWS. And we saw that in AWS, when a VM was restarted, then the server IP address was changing. That's something new. So in 2014, we released HAProxy 1.5, and in HAProxy 1.5, at the same time, we were able to change the server health and weight and also configure dynamic HTTP route, so by just configuring on the fly content of ACLs and map. It's something interesting, but obviously the market is not ready for that yet. And then in 1.5, we introduce SSL full stack in HAProxy. In 2015, the market saw the rise of Consul, so basically service registry and some other examples, and also containers. So I'm not speaking yet about Kubernetes and orchestration, etc. This will come much later. But it's the rise of Docker. And so basically when people started to use this type of infrastructure, they needed to change a server port in the configuration. In 1.6, we released the ability to change the server IP address. So we saw that for public clouds in 2014, we needed to change the server IP address. And so we meet this requirement the next year in HAProxy 1.6. And we were able to do it using DNS or using a CLI command available on the HAProxy runtime API. 2016, we introduced the ability for servers to change their port to match the need for service registries. In 2017, the rise of HTTP2 and many businesses wanted to start using it because it was improving the latency and the performance of their web applications. We were working on HTTP2 for some time already, and so the release 1.8 that came the same year came with HTTP2 at the same time. We also supported DNS SRV records that are very convenient when you want to plug HAProxy with service registry, which uses also this type of protocol. And we introduced the server templates. So the server templates was a way of allowing people to configure a bunch of servers and then use the dynamic features like I want to change one server IP address, one server port, one server parameter, etc. And that was the beginning of dynamic servers. There will be a talk about this later. Then we are arriving in 2018. 2018 saw the rise of Kubernetes. Kubernetes is an orchestration system which of course needs a lot of dynamic parameters like server settings, new backends, and HTTP route. In the same year, it was the rise of Let's Encrypt because of the TLS Everywhere statement. Of course, TLS Everywhere and Let's Encrypt and Kubernetes also require SSL certificate. Now, something interesting is that Kubernetes requires HTTP route, dynamic. But we have this feature in HAProxy for like 4 years already because it was available in 1.5 when we could update the ACLs and maps. So this year, we changed the cadence of releases of HAProxy. We had 2 releases. In 2.0, we introduced a feature called Layer 7 retries. So Layer 7 retries are very important in environment where ephemeral servers are in use because they can be taken down at any point in time. And so if HAProxy wanted or expected a response from one of these servers, it has to replace the same request on another server. And in 2.1, we also see the dynamic front-end SSL certificate, which is one of the use cases for Let's Encrypt and Kubernetes. In 2020, we saw the rise of service mesh and API gateway. Once again, these patterns has been existing for some time and for some early adopters, but now we see more and more businesses and enterprises using this type of patterns in their architecture. The need for dynamic feature is the same as for Kubernetes and Let's Encrypt. You need dynamic servers, you need HTTP route, you need SSL certificates. So in 2021, the last release 2.4 brings us features to fill the gap. First, we had the full dynamic SSL stack. You can change SSL certificate and many other parameters on the front side and on the back side. We have also the dynamic servers. So basically, you could create a backend with no servers and then populate servers on the fly based on the information we can get from your various service registries. We have an HTTP client in HAProxy, which allows you to create some Lua scripting to get connected to third parties and influence the way HAProxy is currently configured. And we also have what we call ACL and MAP atomic update, which is a very convenient way of managing your map and ACL without having the headache of knowing which line has to be removed and which line has to be created. You just push your new ACL content and tell HAProxy to move the pointer from the V1 to V2, and you're good. A point on the roadmap. We saw that since latest HAProxy conference back in 2019, we introduced SSL and TLS certificate on both front-end and back-end sides. You can also configure your CF files, and we also support the changes in the CRT list. It's very important because when you want to build a service mesh on top of HAProxy, you have to update all these parameters at some point in time. So you can do it without reloading HAProxy at all. We saw that HAProxy 2.4 brings us the ability to create and remove servers in a backend. And we also saw that we can update ACL and maps using atomic updates, which is also very convenient because you don't have to compute the diff anymore on your side. You just push, move the pointer, done. Now, we have some point of interest for the future. We want to be able to create and remove backends exactly like we can create and remove servers. Since you can already configure a route, what you will be able to do is that create a new backend, populate servers, update a route in the front end, get the traffic flow. All of this without changing or reloading your process. We want HAProxy to be able to self-configure using service registries. As I already explained, we now have an HTTP client in HAProxy that we can leverage to get connected to third-party APIs, collect information, generate local configuration, and apply on the fly. Native support for Let's Encrypt is also on its way, which means that HAProxy will be able to renew your certificate directly with Let's Encrypt without using any third parties. We also want to bring you more Lua bindings. We have a lot of features available in HAProxy and on the CLI, which are not yet available in Lua, and we have good hope that Lua can be used much more within HAProxy. Conclusion. HAProxy 1.0 was designed 20 years ago, and it was clearly not designed for HTTP 2 or 3, neither SSL. The reason is simple. Back in 2001, there was no thinking of bringing new version of HTTP protocol. It was very early. That said, as we saw, HAProxy has evolved a lot, both on bringing new features and being able to provide more and more live configuration changes that we call dynamic. It's a real challenge for the development team to be able to implement these new features while keeping the software cutting edge with the modern use cases. And you know, the modern use cases of 1 year can be a legacy use case a few years later. But HAProxy has always kept up to date with what people are expecting from it. And it's not because HAProxy is introducing all these changes in its core that it's going to lower its performance and reliability. So thank you very much for the development team for being able to bring new features without breaking anything. Thank you.